The gentle morning sun bathed the vast prairie in a warm glow, with soft breezes brushing through the tall grass. The animal conservation team at Green Valley Reserve began their day with the familiar rhythm of their duties. Birds chirped melodiously, blending with the sound of light footsteps treading through the early morning dew. They were inspecting the wildlife habitats, a routine yet vital mission, and they believed. Among them was Luna, an aging German shepherd, walking closely beside Jake, her steadfast companion of many years. Luna, with her golden brown coat streaked with silver from age, had once been an exceptional rescue dog. Though retired now, her protective instincts and unwavering loyalty were still etched into every movement. Jake often joked that Luna wasn't just a dog. She was the bravest partner he'd ever had. As the team ventured further into the southern section of the prairie, Luna suddenly stopped. Her ears perked up, and her sharp eyes fixated on a dense cluster of trees. Jake, noticing the unusual behavior, knelt to stroke her head gently. "What is it, girl?" he asked in his warm, calm voice. Instead of her usual reassuring gaze, Luna let out a soft bark, as if urging him to pay attention. Following Luna's lead, Jake turned his gaze toward the thicket and sensed something was amiss. Moving closer, he heard faint, fragmented cries, sounds of distress calling out from the wild. He and Luna swiftly made their way through the dense foliage toward the source of the sound. Pushing aside the thick branches, Jake and Luna were met with a scene that left them both stunned. Nestled among the dry grass were two small, fragile creatures, trembling under the soft morning light. They were two lion cubs, only a few weeks old, their wide eyes filled with a mixture of fear and vulnerability. Their thin legs, coated in dirt, gave away how long they had been abandoned, huddled together as if clinging to the last warmth they could find in the desolate wilderness. Jake knelt to examine them. The cubs were weak, their breaths shallow, and it was clear they had been left alone for days. There was no sign of their mother, and their chance of survival in the wild was nearly non-existent. Jake looked toward Luna, seeking her reassurance. Luna didn't hesitate. She approached the cubs, gently licking their matted fur, a maternal gesture meant to soothe their frightened hearts. Jake knew that doing nothing would seal the fate of these cubs. Carefully, he lifted them, feeling their frail, cold bodies in his arms. Luna walked closely by his side, her eyes never leaving the two cubs. In her gaze, Jake saw a silent affirmation. "We must save them." The team quickly headed back to the conservation center. On the way, Jake couldn't stop thinking about the cubs' circumstances. Had their mother been hunted, or were they abandoned for some unknown reason? The questions lingered without answers, but Jake knew one thing for certain. He and Luna now bore the responsibility of ensuring these two fragile lives endured. Back at the reserve, the staff immediately set to work caring for the cubs. They were named Simba and Leo, names imbued with hope and strength. Despite being given food and water, both cubs refused to eat. They curled up in the corner of their enclosure, trembling and letting out faint cries, seemingly searching for the comfort of their missing mother. It was then that Luna did something no one anticipated. She stepped into the care area, slowly approaching the cubs. Jake moved to stop her but hesitated as Luna leaned down to gently lick Simba and Leo's heads. In response, the trembling cubs stilled, even inching closer to her warmth. In that moment, a miraculous bond was formed. That night, when Jake made one final check before retiring, he found Luna curled up beside Simba and Leo in their care area. She held them close to her body, using her warmth and love to calm their anxious hearts. Luna's eyes shone with determination, a resolve to do whatever it took to protect these vulnerable lives. Jake stood silently, his heart swelling with emotion. In that moment, he realized that, despite their differences in species, Luna's love for Simba and Leo was no less than maternal. It wasn't just instinct. It was the heart of a being who had spent her life protecting those in need. The first days at the conservation center were anything but easy for Simba and Leo. Though rescued from danger, the two lion cubs carried a deep sense of fear and insecurity. They huddled in the corner of their enclosure, their wide eyes constantly scanning every movement around them, as if bracing for another threat. The conservation team tried everything to help them recover, from treating their injuries and providing warm milk to creating the quietest environment possible. Yet none of their efforts seemed enough. It was Luna, with her instincts and the love of a mother, who managed to break through the wall of fear surrounding these two fragile lives. Tom readily agreed to step down as president and was sentenced to be released from the Guildhall for 7 years and could never have imagined he'd stood a chance against her keys. Since that time, great turmoil has fell like an echo. From the moment Luna first approached Simba and Leo, she showed something extraordinary. It wasn't mere curiosity or protective instinct. It was a deeper understanding, as if she knew that these cubs needed her more than anyone else. Luna did not hesitate or keep her distance. Instead, she approached them gently, her eyes radiating patience and warmth, as if to say, "You're safe now, and I'm here for you." In those early days, Luna devoted all her time to Simba and Leo. She lay beside them, using her body to keep them warm through the chilly nights. She licked their dirt-covered fur, not just to clean them, but to soothe their troubled hearts. When Simba and Leo refused to eat, Luna nudged the milk bowl toward them, offering silent encouragement. If they still didn't respond, she would gently lick their faces, as if to show them that it was okay to trust again. Gradually, Simba and Leo began to respond to Luna's love. At first, it was just a nuzzle into her fur when they felt scared. Later, they started to emit soft cries whenever she moved away. They began to venture out of their corner, cautiously stepping closer to Luna. Wherever she went, they followed, as though unwilling to be apart from their foster mother for even a moment. Jake and the conservation team were astonished by this transformation. They had worried that Simba and Leo, being wild animals, might never accept the presence of another species. But Luna, with her unwavering love and patience, proved that maternal affection transcends species boundaries. She not only nurtured Simba and Leo physically, but also gave them the sense of security they had long lost. "Jake," said the presiding one. One of the most memorable moments was when Luna taught Simba and Leo to explore their surroundings confidently. Initially, the cubs were hesitant to step out of their enclosure, but Luna, calm and determined, led the way. She walked slowly, frequently glancing back to ensure the cubs were following. When they seemed nervous, she paused and gently licked their heads to reassure them. Simba and Leo began to learn from Luna. They mimicked her every move, from how she sniffed the air to check for safety, to how she moved gracefully to avoid disturbing other creatures. To them, Luna was not just a mother, but also their first teacher, guiding them in ways they could understand. One sunny afternoon, as soft rays of light bathed the reserve, Jake witnessed a scene that left him deeply moved. Luna lay on the grass, with Simba and Leo nestled against her, seeking warmth and comfort. The three, though of different species, were bonded in a way that seemed unbreakable. Jake quietly captured the moment with his camera, knowing he was witnessing a rare miracle. Luna is truly remarkable, Jake thought. She hasn't just saved Simba and Leo, she's teaching them how to love and trust. Luna's journey as a foster mother was more than a story of rescue. It was a testament to love and patience. She showed that even without shared bloodlines, bonds between living beings could grow strong when built on compassion and love. For Simba and Leo, Luna was not just a mother who had saved them from the brink of death. She was their guiding light, helping them rediscover faith in life. Each night, as Simba and Leo curled up beside Luna, their steady breaths mingled with the rhythm of her heartbeat. Luna would close her eyes, a deep sense of peace washing over her. To her, this journey was not just a duty. It was her purpose, a reason to keep living, loving, and protecting those in need. For Simba and Leo, Luna became the embodiment of unconditional love, a love that needed no words but was strong enough to heal all wounds and build a future filled with hope. The morning sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, painting the Green Valley Reserve in a serene beauty. But behind this tranquility lay a world of constant challenges, where life and danger coexisted. For Luna, Simba, and Leo, this day would become unforgettable, a test of love, courage, and the unbreakable bond they shared. Simba and Leo, now healthier and more active, began to exhibit the natural curiosity of young lion cubs. They no longer stayed close to Luna, but started exploring the world around them. Tall grasses, fluttering butterflies, and birds' cheerful songs fascinated them. Luna, ever the patient mother, stayed close behind, her vigilant eyes never straying from the two cubs. One afternoon, while playing near the edge of the reserve, Simba and Leo discovered a small cave hidden beneath a thick grove of trees. Their curiosity drove them closer, unaware that this area might be home to dangerous creatures. Luna, busy surveying the surroundings, turned back to find the cubs gone. Instantly alert, she sniffed the air and, realizing their trail, sprinted like an arrow toward the cave. When Luna arrived, she saw Simba and Leo standing before the cave's entrance, oblivious to the threat looming nearby. A menacing hyena had noticed their presence and was slowly advancing, its sharp eyes fixed on the cubs and emitting low growls. Simba and Leo, trying to appear brave, were far too young to face such danger. "Please don't hurt us," Simba said. "Please, I want Trump to fix our family." Without hesitation, Luna leaped into action, positioning herself between the hyena and the cubs. A deep, authoritative growl rose from her throat, sending a clear message: "Don't you dare touch my cubs." Despite the hyena's larger size, Luna's determination and courage radiated power. The hyena lunged, but Luna, drawing on the skills honed during her days as a rescue dog, evaded with precision and countered with surprising strength. Simba and Leo watched in awe and fear, their wide eyes fixed on their foster mother. They seemed to understand that Luna wasn't just a protector, she was their lifeline, the only force standing between them and danger. After a tense standoff, the hyena realized it couldn't easily overpower Luna. It retreated with a snarl, its eyes still blazing with hostility, but eventually disappeared into the wilderness. Exhausted but steadfast, Luna remained in place, her gaze following the hyena until it was completely out of sight. Only then did she turn to Simba and Leo. The cubs ran to Luna, nuzzling into her fur for comfort. Luna gently licked their heads, her eyes soft yet resolute, silently conveying, "I will always protect you." It was a moment that required no words, but carried the weight of pure love and sacrifice. The incident made the conservation team realize that Simba and Leo needed to start learning how to protect themselves in the wild. They began planning training sessions for the cubs while ensuring Luna remained their guide and guardian. Luna not only helped the cubs identify danger, but also instilled confidence in them to face the wild world. Each training session became a learning experience, not just for Simba and Leo, but also for the conservation team. They saw firsthand how Luna's love and patience played a pivotal role in helping the cubs overcome their challenges. Luna demonstrated that maternal bonds weren't confined by species or bloodlines. They were forged through sincerity and sacrifice. One evening, As life seemed to settle back into normalcy, Jake sat beside Luna, watching Simba and Leo curled up together. "You're amazing, girl," he murmured. "You're not just a dog. You're the best mother these cubs could ever have." Luna, as if understanding Jake's words, tilted her head slightly, her eyes glowing with contentment and peace. She knew that no matter how many challenges lay ahead, she would always be there for Simba and Leo, protecting them with everything she had. That day's trial wasn't just a test of Luna's courage, it was a testament to the power of love. Through Luna's sacrifice, we are reminded that no matter how tough life gets, connection and compassion can help us overcome any obstacle. Luna didn't just protect Simba and Leo, she taught them, and all of us, that in this world, true love knows no boundaries. Dawn broke over the sprawling reserve, its soft golden light blanketing the land. The chirping of birds mingled with the rustling of leaves in the breeze, heralding the start of a new day. But today was no ordinary day. Today marked the moment Luna, Simba, and Leo would part ways. A goodbye that would open a new chapter in each of their lives. Simba and Leo had grown into young, strong lions with gleaming coats and sharp, focused eyes. They were no longer the fragile, trembling cubs Luna had saved in their earliest days. Thanks to Luna's devoted care and the conservation team's training, they were now ready to lead independent lives in the wild. Though Luna showed no outward signs, it seemed she sensed the impending change. Over recent weeks, Simba and Leo had spent more time exploring their surroundings on their own, gradually displaying their independence. Yet, whenever they felt uneasy, their eyes instinctively sought Luna's reassuring presence, as if to ensure their foster mother was still there. Jake, who had been by Luna's side throughout this journey, stood quietly beside her. He knew Luna was prepared, but it didn't make the moment any less poignant. "It's going to be hard, girl," he murmured, gently stroking her head. "But this is what's best for them." The conservation team had meticulously prepared for Simba and Leo's release into a protected natural reserve, a vast, secure habitat with abundant resources. As the time for farewell drew closer, Simba and Leo seemed to sense something unusual. They stayed close to Luna, nuzzling her for comfort. Luna, as though understanding the inevitability of the moment, remained composed. She stood still, letting Simba and Leo press into her, silently conveying, "It's going to be okay. I'll always be with you in spirit." When the large gates to the forest swung open, sunlight spilled in, beckoning Simba and Leo into a new world. They hesitated, glancing back at Luna with eyes filled with longing. Jake knelt beside her, his voice thick with emotion. "You've done everything you could, Luna. Now it's time for them to fly." Luna stepped forward and gently licked each cub on the head. It wasn't a goodbye, but a blessing, a silent affirmation that she believed in them. Simba and Leo seemed to understand. They turned and began walking toward the forest, but before disappearing into the trees, they both glanced back at Luna one last time. In that brief moment, Jake realized the three shared a silent understanding, a promise that their love would remain unbroken, no matter the distance between them. As the gate closed, Luna remained where she was, her gaze fixed on the forest until Simba and Leo were completely out of sight. Jake placed a hand on her shoulder and whispered, "You did it, Luna. You're an incredible mother." Luna lowered her head slightly, as if in agreement, though her eyes carried a deep, quiet sorrow. "6!" shouted Mason, after half a minute, his arms full of mason. In the days that followed, Luna often returned to the enclosure where Simba and Leo had once stayed. She would lie down and occasionally sniff the air, as if searching for their familiar scent. Jake didn't stop her, knowing it was her way of coping with their absence. Weeks later, the team received updates from the natural reserve. Simba and Leo were thriving. They had learned to hunt, explore their territory, and adapt to their environment. In photos sent back to the team, Jake often spotted Simba and Leo's eyes, still carrying the trust they once reserved for Luna. When Jake shared the news with Luna, she seemed to understand. She stood up, wagged her tail faintly, and took a leisurely walk around the reserve. For the first time since the farewell, Jake saw a sense of peace in her demeanor. Though Simba and Leo had embarked on their new lives, the bond between them and Luna remained unbroken. It was a maternal love that transcended boundaries, a love that didn't require shared blood or resemblance to exist. For Luna, her mission was complete. She had protected, nurtured, and prepared Simba and Leo for a future of independence. Now, this story is not just Luna's journey, but a reminder to us all that true love knows no bounds. Sometimes letting go to allow others to grow is the most profound expression of love. In such moments, we don't lose anything. Instead, we gain a treasure trove of memories and a love that will never fade. 2 years had passed, time flowing like a quiet river, bringing inevitable changes. Life at Green Valley Reserve continued with its familiar rhythm. Luna, now slightly older, remained loyally by Jake's side, supporting the conservation team as always. Her golden brown coat bore more silver strands, yet her eyes still shone with unwavering love and determination. Jake often looked at Luna and wondered if she still remembered Simba and Leo. The lion cubs who once meant the world to her had now grown into independent young lions, living their own lives in the protected natural reserve. But he knew, no matter how much time passed, the special bond they shared still lingered in Luna's heart. One day, Jake received an unexpected call from the conservation team overseeing Simba and Leo's area. "Would you like to bring Luna to visit them?" a cheerful voice on the other end asked. "We believe they still remember her." Jake didn't hesitate. He looked at Luna, gently stroking her head, and said, "What do you think, girl? Shall we go see the kids?" Though she couldn't understand the words, Luna sensed the excitement in Jake's voice. Her ears perked up and her tail wagged faintly, as if to say yes. The journey to the natural reserve took several hours, but for Jake and Luna, the time seemed to pass quickly. Throughout the trip, Luna sat quietly, gazing out the window as though preparing for the long-awaited reunion. Jake could feel her anticipation, and he couldn't hide his own emotions either. When the car finally stopped, a breathtaking scene unfolded before them. Endless grasslands stretched to the horizon, where sunlight danced upon tall blades of grass. The local conservation team greeted Jake and Luna warmly, guiding them to a safe observation area. "We usually spot Simba and Leo here in the afternoons," one member explained. "Just wait a little." Jake and Luna stood still, eyes scanning the vast landscape. Then, from the horizon, two majestic figures emerged. Simba and Leo, now fully grown lions, strode confidently across the plains, their golden manes glowing in the sunlight. But the moment their eyes fell upon Luna, something extraordinary happened. Both lions froze in their tracks. They stared intently at Luna, as if trying to confirm that what they were seeing was real. And then, like a sudden gust of wind, Simba and Leo charged toward her. Luna, who had been standing still, ran to meet them, her steps slower but no less determined than in her younger days. When they met, no words could capture the moment. Simba and Leo nuzzled against Luna, rubbing their heads affectionately against her, releasing soft, loving growls. Luna responded by licking their faces, as though to reassure them she had missed them just as much. The three creatures, despite belonging to different species, were united once more in a bond that defied explanation. The conservation team watched the scene in awe, some even tearing up at the sight of the reunion. Jake stood nearby, his heart swelling with emotion. He whispered to himself, "This is love, pure, unconditional, and everlasting." For the rest of the afternoon, Simba and Leo stayed close to Luna. They walked together across the grasslands, as if catching up on lost time. Luna's eyes shone with pride as she watched the two lions, no longer the fragile cubs she had once nurtured, but powerful and confident beings ready to rule their world. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues across the sky, it was time for Jake and Luna to leave. Simba and Leo stood at the edge of their territory, watching as their mother turned back one last time to look at them. In that fleeting moment, their connection was reaffirmed without the need for words. It was a silent promise that distance and time could never sever the love they shared. In that fleeting moment, their connection rejoined. On the drive back, Jake glanced at Luna, who lay quietly in the back seat, a contented expression on her face. He knew this reunion had given her a sense of fulfillment, a rare gift for both Luna and the lions she had once called her cubs. This reunion wasn't just about meeting again. It was a celebration of an unbreakable bond, a reminder that love, born of compassion and sacrifice, transcends all boundaries. Luna had given Simba and Leo the strength to thrive, and in return, they had filled her heart with a joy that would last a lifetime.